Welcome to a special edition of Metal Detecting with Lugnut, brought to you by Purple Hearts Reunited. Well, this episode is called Dogtag Goes Home. And it's about our little dog tag here that I found 5 months ago in Capon Bridge, West Virginia. Now I know that I said in my 2019 wrap-up that I'd probably never find out what happened to Mr. Brooks, and I wouldn't be able to get the tag back to his family. Unbelievably, the day after I posted that video, I got an email from an organization that we'll go into later, found Mr. Brooks's daughter. She lives in Florida, and she's going to be getting this dog tag back very soon. But before we go into that, let's revisit the finding of the tag in Capon Bridge, West Virginia.
Had an 86, 84, 83 signal. Flipped it out, and look what just flew right out. An actual dog tag of some kind. Let me wipe that off, see what it says. Be right back. Well, that there is a real bona fide military dog tag. I'm going to blur it, or it'll be blurry, you won't be able to see it, but it has name, has some years, has a blood type on it, and some other numbers. See if I can figure out who this person is. Wow, that's pretty darn cool. All right, next.
Welcome back. When I got home with the tag, immediately got on the internet and tried to find out as much as I could about it. I did find out that it was a Type 3 U.S. Army, or not Army, but a U.S. military dog tag. And it was the most common type of tag issued during World War II. I even looked up people who knew about it, military ephemera, and I emailed a couple people trying to get more information. I know a little bit about dog tags. My father was a lifer in the Army, Medical Service Corps, and I've lived on many, many military posts, and even as a dependent, I had dog tags that were dependent dog tags. So I've seen dog tags before, and I knew that this was a real one when I found it. One of the people that I contacted didn't know how to trace the dog tag owner other than telling me about the U.S. military archive in St. Louis, Missouri, which I mentioned in the original video, and I did send them a request for information, but because of the fire they had in 1973, a lot of World War II records were lost, and they were not going to be able to give me any further information. All I could tell from what I learned on the internet was that in the service number, one of the second two digits are the region that the enlistee came from. In this case, it's a 36, which means Virginia, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and Pennsylvania, which turned out to be true. His blood type is on here, which is O, and the P, which is on here, stands for Protestant. The gentleman I emailed, the expert on military ephemera, referred me to an organization called Purple Hearts Reunited. And I'm going to give you a whole bunch of information about them in a little bit. But they return Purple Hearts and other medals, and they even do dog tags. And so I sent them a picture of this, and they said they would do their best, and I didn't hear from them for 5 months. And when they did email me back, they had information that their researchers pulled up from the public record. So these were not military records, but they were public records. And so let me read to you the information that these nice people were able to find on Mr. Brooks. Okay, Charles A. Brooks was born in 1924 in Winchester, Virginia, which is only 16 miles from where I found the dog tag. Winchester is just east of Cape Horn Bridge in Virginia. Cape Horn Bridge is just inside the West Virginia line. He registered for the draft in 1942. He enlisted in the Army in 1943 while he was living and going to school in North Florida. While in the Army, he earned the rank of a Tech 5, which I found out is like a Tech Corporal. He was honorably discharged in 1946, and he was married in 1948, again, still living in Florida. He earned his living, and his career was a driving instructor in Florida, and he taught hundreds and hundreds of people how to drive. He passed away in Florida in 1985, and I spoke with his daughter this morning on the phone. She's the one who told me that he was a driving instructor. She did not know what his service function had been during the Army, his MOS. She didn't know that, but that's okay. But that's fascinating, and she was very nice. We had a very nice conversation, and I have her P.O. box, and I'm going to be sending this tag back to her tomorrow. And this is all I have to thank for all of this, Purple Hearts Reunited. And I think everybody should listen closely to this. Visit this website for these people. I'm going to put it in the description because this is an organization that does fantastic work. It was founded by Zach and Jessica Fike, and this is off their website. The mission is to return lost or stolen military medals of valor to veterans or their families in order to honor their sacrifice to the nation. This is the only organization that provides a service of this type. Again, I'm going to put the link in the description. These people did an amazing job. They get medals, they find out the history of the medal, they go on site to return these to people or to return it to their family, and if they can't, apparently there's a museum, a military museum, where then they take these medals and they put them into the museum, which I think is really awesome. There is a sad note to the story. The gentleman who my father and I were visiting, who gave me permission to hunt the house where the tag was found, his name is Paul O'Malley, and after I found the tag, we came home. I couldn't find anything, and he had told me that he still had some contact with the family that had owned the property previously. Now, this is an African American family who had owned the property really since the end of the Civil War as a land grant, and they'd lived on the property for generations until the early 60s when Mr. O'Malley bought it from them. When I was unable to find any information, I contacted him again about maybe if he could contact the family and see if they knew anything about Mr. Brooks. Unfortunately, just this week, I found out through my father, and he just found out also recently through a magazine that's made by a car club that they're both members of. Right after we left, shortly, within just a couple weeks of my finding the tag and leaving West Virginia, Mr. O'Malley passed away suddenly. And I had been wondering why he didn't respond with the information about the family. And he couldn't, because he was no longer with us, which is a shame. He was a super nice guy, and he was probably one of the more sought after Hudson car mechanics on the east coast of the United States. But we're going to get this tag back to Charles Brooks's daughter in Florida. I think this is really awesome. As awesome as giving Eric his gold ring back, I think this is better. And I'm so happy that this is going to find its rightful home. And if you are a metal detectorist and you find a dog tag or a medal or something that needs to be returned to the family, this organization, Purple Hearts Reunited, may very well be able to help you. So look in the description, see how to get in contact with them, and I would encourage everybody to send them a little donation if you can, because they really do some fantastic work. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story half as much as I did. So thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching. And please come back when we once again go looking for what's under the grass. Bye for now.